Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful day out here. Every day is a beautiful day when you reach a certain age, right? But I wanted to tell you why I was making this video. I'll tell you a quick story. So, I raised my sons by myself, all alone. They lost their mom when they were 7 and 3 years old. I was not a young man. I was raising these boys in my mid-late 40s, right? And I was raised differently than them. They had a lot more traps than I had to deal with and a lot of things that I didn't understand. But I learned on the fly, and I knew that I could raise good young men if I concentrated and if I used the benefit of the wisdom that I've learned over these years. So here's the deal. I did the best I could do. I made some mistakes, but they're fine young men. Now, one's a sergeant in the Army. He's deployed over in Korea. I got a young grandson I haven't met yet, which I'm really looking forward to. And I've got a young Lance Corporal Marine, an air traffic controller who's stationed over in Okinawa. They've been gone for about a year now, but even though they're in different branches, and just the way their deployments worked out. So I went for 20 plus years of being a full-time single dad to boom, everything's gone, right? I don't have any family because I buried both my parents and both my brothers by the time I was 29 years old. So I didn't actually have a support system, but it all worked out, right? It all worked out. It was part of my destiny. So then the boys are gone, the distraction's gone, and I started looking around. I was thinking, okay, I want to do some good because I've been a good guy and I've been a bad guy. This is the good guy part, and I wanted to help. And I started thinking about, who could I help? And then it hit me at 3 in the morning. Young men, these young dudes out here. Oh man, it is rough. You guys got some traps that I never dreamed of when I was a young dude. I mean, I never dreamed I could have porn at my fingertips, or video games the way they're making them now, or social media, or walking around with these cell phones in their hands that just give them the world at their fingertips. But here's the problem. Beyond that, even dating has changed. I see dudes, these young dudes, their entire love life is swiping through Tinder. I'm like, oh my God, how bad is this, right? So, that 3 o'clock in the morning thing, I was like, I tell you what triggered it. The boys are gone, and I try to work out. I try to keep myself in shape. I'm not a young dude. It hurts, but I rock it. I do the best I can do with it. And I go to the gym, and it was like a few weeks ago. And I walked in. It wasn't that many people, and I saw that 4 or 5 of the machines were occupied. I didn't really pay too much attention to it, but there's mirrors everywhere and shit. And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I noticed that there was 4 or 5. I didn't know how many. I started to take a picture, and I thought it was kind of creepy, and I didn't want to do that. And I just looked, and there's 4 or 5 guys sitting on machines, scrolling through their phones. And trust me, these dudes needed to do work. I mean, if anybody needed to work out, it was these dudes. But they're all caught up in this instant gratification. Literally, what do you come to the gym for? To sit there on your phone? I don't know. But that's part of what I'm talking about. That's something I didn't have to deal with, but I did deal with my sons. I had to discipline them, and I had to break it down for them, let them know there's a little bit more to life than that. There's a little bit more to life than going to McDonald's and getting yourself a cheeseburger and a Frosty Fly or whatever the hell they sell up there. So, I saw these young dudes, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then I thought, you know what? Instead of being disparaging, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you at least try to do something about it? And that's what this was all about. That's what this is all about. What this is all about is trying to help, right? Because here's one thing that I do have. I've got a lot of years on me. I'm a boomer, and I made it. And I buried everybody, all my friends, all my family. I'm the last one, the last man standing, right? So I started thinking, well, if I got blessed with that, maybe I should pass that on a little bit. Maybe I should try to help. And I see these young men, and so many of them today, they never had a father. All these single moms and all these situations with these guys, man, they never had anybody to look up to. They had nothing. Half of them don't even know how to change a tire. I wheeled into 7-Eleven this morning. Some dude sitting in the passenger side of this girl's car on his phone while the young lady is out there pumping gas, and he's sitting on his ass on his phone in the front seat of her car. So I doesn't even have enough sense to get out of the car and say, listen, I got that. Why don't you sit down, sweetie? And I started thinking, maybe he doesn't know what it's like to be a man. Maybe he doesn't know what a man's role is. That's one thing I know. I was raised in a military family. We had a certain code of ethics. That's just what we did. We had a code, right? But these guys don't have a code, and they got nowhere to go. And they got so many distractions, and they're not good. They're not good distractions. And it's making them weak, and it's making them soft. And I started thinking, okay, man, you made it this far. What can you do to help? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a series of videos on a couple different subjects that I see that are plaguing you young cats out there. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna try to offer you a perspective. I'm gonna try to offer you a different way of looking at things, and maybe together we can figure this thing out. If you stick with me, I'll stick with you. But I'm doing this for free. There's nothing in this for me other than trying to do good. And I'm being called to do it. And I don't want to wake up at 3 in the morning and think about what can I do to help. So I'm embracing the technology. I'm embracing the law of the land right now. And this is my way of reaching out and trying to help. I want to build a small community of young men and try to show them a different path in life. You know, maybe some of you young dudes are caught in dark places and you don't know how to get out. Or maybe your perspective is all fucked up because nobody ever showed you what's up. Right? So this is what I'm going to try to do. I'm not an expert. I'm not a self-help guy, or, you know, one of these so-called life coaches I see out there. Yeah, life coach and you're 300 pounds. What the fuck? Anyway, so I'm going to make these videos. And I'm going to post them. I'm going to try to build a small community. And, you know, ideally in a perfect world, you know, I'd like to maybe have these young dudes create friendships with other young dudes that might be in the same spot. And I want to offer my perspective. I want to give my time. And this is something that I want to do, that I'm going to do. So, like I said, you stick with me and I'll stick with you. We'll figure this thing out. I appreciate your time.